been 7 hours and 50 days.
Have you ever heard a voice that resonates long after the song ends? That's Sinead O'Connor for you. A blend of raw talent and defiant spirit, she wasn't just a singer, but a phenomenon. Her journey from the streets of Ireland to the pinnacle of global fame is a tale of rebellion, passion, and heartache. Intrigued? Let's delve into the life of the woman who sang like an angel, but roared like a lion. Rise to stardom, Sinead O'Connor's early life and breakthrough. Sinead O'Connor's story begins in Dublin, Ireland in 1966. Born into a turbulent household, her upbringing was anything but ordinary. From an early age, O'Connor showed signs of a prodigious musical talent. As a teenager, she found solace in music, which became both her refuge and her rebellion. O'Connor's early life was marked by hardship and struggle. She endured a challenging family life and faced numerous obstacles that would shape her into the resilient artist we came to know. Despite these adversities, or perhaps because of them, her passion for music grew stronger. It was during these formative years that O'Connor developed her distinctive voice, one that would later captivate audiences worldwide.
And tuck your sweet babies into their beds.
In the early 1980s, O'Connor's journey into the music industry began. She moved to London, the epicenter of the music scene, where she joined a band called Ton Ton Macoute. This period was crucial in honing her skills and understanding the dynamics of the music world. However, it was her solo career that would catapult her into the spotlight. In 1987, O'Connor released her debut album, The Lion and the Cobra. The album was a critical success, showcasing her unique voice and songwriting prowess. Tracks like Mandinka and Troy were not just songs, they were fierce declarations of a young artist ready to make her mark. The album's raw energy and O'Connor's haunting vocals struck a chord with listeners, gaining her a dedicated following. But it was in 1990 that Sinead O'Connor would become a household name. Her cover of Prince's Nothing Compares to You was a global sensation, topping charts in multiple countries. The song's emotional depth, combined with the iconic music video featuring O'Connor's tear-streaked face, created an unforgettable moment in music history. It wasn't just her voice that captivated the audience, it was her vulnerability, her pain, and her unapologetic authenticity. Nothing Compares to You wasn't just a hit, it was a cultural moment. O'Connor's rendition resonated with people across the globe, transcending barriers of language and culture. The single catapulted her to international stardom, and suddenly the world was watching Sinead O'Connor. However, with fame came scrutiny. O'Connor was not your typical pop star. She defied norms with her shaved head and often androgynous look, challenging the industry's and society's expectations of female artists. Her strong opinions and outspoken nature made her a controversial figure. But for her fans, this was part of her appeal. O'Connor was real in a world of manufactured pop stars. Following the success of Nothing Compares to You, O'Connor continued to release music that was both critically acclaimed and deeply personal. Albums like I Do Not Want What I Haven't Got showcased her versatility as an artist, blending elements of rock, pop, and folk. Her music was a reflection of her life, complex, turbulent, and deeply emotive. Amidst her rising stardom, O'Connor remained fiercely independent. She was an artist who lived for her music, not for the fame or the accolades. Her approach to fame was as unconventional as her music. She spoke openly about issues close to her heart, from politics to personal struggles, never shying away from controversy. Sinead O'Connor's rise to stardom was not a fairy tale, but a journey marked by resilience, talent, and a refusal to conform. From her troubled childhood in Dublin to the world stages, she remained true to herself, never compromising her art for commercial success. Her voice, once a quiet echo in the streets of Ireland, had become a roar heard around the world. O'Connor's impact on the music industry cannot be overstated. She broke barriers and challenged norms, paving the way for artists who dared to be different. Her legacy is not just in her music, but in her courage to be unapologetically herself in an industry that often demands conformity. As we continue to explore her life and career, we see not just a star but a trailblazer who changed the face of music forever. Iconic moment. Nothing compares to you and global fame. In the annals of music history, certain songs transcend their time and genre, becoming symbols of an era. For Sinead O'Connor, this moment came with the release of Nothing Compares to You in 1990. A cover of a Prince song, it was not just a track. It was a cultural phenomenon, a convergence of raw emotion and artistic expression that propelled O'Connor into the stratosphere of global fame. Picture this, a close-up of O'Connor, her face bare, her eyes conveying a world of emotion. The music video, directed by John Mayberry, is strikingly simple yet profoundly moving. As O'Connor delivers the lyrics, her voice both delicate and powerful. A single tear rolls down her cheek. This moment, unplanned and unscripted, captured the raw emotion behind the song and struck a chord with millions worldwide. It was authenticity in its purest form, a stark contrast to the glitz and glamour of the early 90s music scene. The song itself is a haunting ballad of love and loss. O'Connor's interpretation of Prince's lyrics transformed the track into something deeply personal and universally relatable. Her voice, with its unique blend of strength and vulnerability, brought a new dimension to the song, turning it into an anthem for the heartbroken. The success of Nothing Compares to You was immediate and overwhelming. It topped charts in numerous countries, including the United States, the United Kingdom, and O'Connor's homeland of Ireland. But the impact of Nothing Compares to You went beyond its commercial success. It became a defining moment in O'Connor's career, showcasing her ability to convey deep emotional resonance through her music. The song's success also placed O'Connor under the international spotlight, bringing with it the pressures and challenges of fame. For O'Connor, this sudden surge of fame was a double-edged sword. While it brought her music to a global audience, it also thrust her into the public eye in a way she had never experienced before. The media's fascination with her image, particularly her shaved head, often overshadowed discussions about her musical talent. Yet, in true O'Connor fashion, she refused to conform to industry standards or media expectations. Her shaved head, far from being a mere style choice, was a statement of rebellion against the traditional norms of female beauty in the music industry. Nothing Compares to You also marked a turning point in O'Connor's artistic journey. The song's success allowed her greater creative freedom in her subsequent work. However, it also set a high bar for her future releases. The challenge for O'Connor was to maintain her artistic integrity while navigating the demands of her newfound fame. Despite the overwhelming success of Nothing Compares to You, O'Connor remained committed to her principles. She continued to use her platform to speak out on issues she was passionate about, often sparking controversy. Her outspoken nature, which had been an asset in her rise to fame, also led to misunderstandings and criticism from the media and public. The legacy of Nothing Compares to You is multifaceted. On one hand, it is a timeless classic, a song that continues to resonate with audiences decades after its release. On the other hand, it represents a pivotal moment in O'Connor's career, a point where her artistic expression and personal beliefs converged under the global spotlight. The song's success brought O'Connor not just fame, but a sense of validation as an artist. It proved that her unique voice and emotive singing style had a universal appeal. Yet it also highlighted the complexities of fame, especially for an artist as uncompromising and authentic as O'Connor. In the years following the release of Nothing Compares to You, O'Connor continued to evolve as an artist, exploring various musical genres and themes. However, the song remained a cornerstone of her legacy, a reminder of the moment when Sinead O'Connor captured the hearts of millions with her voice, her emotion, and her unvarnished truth. As we reflect on the impact of Nothing Compares to You, we see not just a hit song, but a moment in time when an artist reached the zenith of her powers, connecting with audiences in a way that few have managed. It stands as a testament to O'Connor's talent and her ability to touch the soul with her music. In the story of Sinead O'Connor, Nothing Compares to You is more than just a chapter. It's a defining moment that echoes through the annals of music history. Rebellious spirit, defiance, controversies, and the Pope photo incident. In the tapestry of Sinead O'Connor's career, her rebellious spirit stands out as a vibrant thread, defining her persona and shaping her legacy. This spirit, characterized by defiance, controversy, and an unwavering commitment to her beliefs, is exemplified in one of the most memorable and divisive moments of her career: the tearing of Pope John Paul II's photo on live television. Before delving into this defining incident, it's important to understand the foundations of O'Connor's rebellious nature. From her early days in the music industry, she established herself as an artist who would not be molded or constrained by expectations. Her shaved head was a statement against the stereotypical image of female pop stars. Her songs often delved into personal and political themes, reflecting her deep convictions and willingness to challenge societal norms. O'Connor's defiance was not just an act, it was ingrained in her identity. Raised in a tumultuous household in Ireland, she experienced challenges that forged a resilience and a desire to speak out against injustice. Her music became a platform for expressing her views on a range of issues, from child abuse and women's rights to war and organized religion. The most iconic and controversial expression of O'Connor's rebellious spirit occurred on October 3, 1992, on the popular American TV show Saturday Night Live. After performing an a cappella version of Bob Marley's War, which she adapted to address child abuse, O'Connor concluded her performance by holding up a photograph of Pope John Paul II to the camera, declaring, "Fight the real enemy," and then tearing the photo into pieces.
Fight the real enemy.
This act sent shockwaves through the global audience. It was a bold statement against the Catholic Church's handling of child abuse, an issue deeply personal to O'Connor, who had suffered abuse herself. The backlash was immediate and intense. O'Connor faced condemnation from the public, the media, and fellow celebrities. She was booed off stages, her records were destroyed in public demonstrations, and her career in the United States suffered a significant setback. However, O'Connor's actions were not a mere publicity stunt. They were a manifestation of her pain, her anger, and her desire to expose and condemn the abuses she believed were being hidden by the Catholic Church. In tearing the Pope's photo, O'Connor was using her moment in the spotlight to bring attention to a cause she deeply cared about, regardless of the personal cost. The Pope photo incident was a turning point in O'Connor's career. It cemented her reputation as a fiercely independent and controversial figure. While many artists of the era were content to play it safe, O'Connor stood out for her willingness to take risks and stand up for her beliefs, even in the face of overwhelming criticism. This rebellious spirit was not limited to her public performances. O'Connor's music, particularly in albums like The Lion and the Cobra and I Do Not Want What I Haven't Got, reflected her bold and confrontational style. Her lyrics often tackled tough subjects with a raw honesty that resonated with those who felt marginalized or silenced. O'Connor's defiance extended to her personal life as well. She openly discussed her struggles with mental health, her turbulent personal relationships, and her views on religion and spirituality. In doing so, she challenged the stigma surrounding these issues and paved the way for future artists to speak openly about their experiences. The aftermath of the Pope photo incident was complex. O'Connor experienced both a surge in artistic credibility among some circles and a sharp decline in mainstream popularity. However, in hindsight, her act of defiance is often seen as a precursor to the broader conversation on institutional abuse that would emerge years later. Despite the controversies, O'Connor's rebellious spirit was an integral part of her appeal. Her willingness to challenge authority, speak truth to power, and stand by her convictions, even in the face of adversity, earned her a dedicated following. Her fans admired her not just for her musical talent, but for her courage and honesty. Turmoil and tragedy, personal struggles and public perception. Sinead O'Connor's journey through fame was far from smooth. Behind the powerful voice and the defiant public persona lay a world of personal turmoil and tragedy, elements that deeply influenced her life and work. Her story is a poignant reminder of the human behind the artist, a tale of struggles, resilience, and the quest for understanding in a world that often seemed unyielding. O'Connor's personal life was marked by a series of hardships that began in her early years. Raised in a troubled household in Ireland, she experienced a childhood marred by abuse and turmoil. These early experiences left a lasting impact on O'Connor, shaping her views on authority, religion, and personal relationships. Her music often served as an outlet for processing her past, with songs like Troy and Fire on Babylon, reflecting the pain and anger rooted in her upbringing. As O'Connor's fame escalated, so did the scrutiny of her personal life. The media, often unforgiving, frequently portrayed her in a negative light, focusing more on her controversies than her musical achievements. Her public struggles with mental health were widely discussed, sometimes with little sensitivity or understanding. O'Connor was diagnosed with bipolar disorder in 2003, a revelation that she later questioned, adding another layer of complexity to her relationship with the public and the media. One of the most heartbreaking chapters in O'Connor's life was the loss of her son, Shane, to suicide in 2021. The tragedy struck O'Connor deeply, as she publicly shared her grief and implored her son not to harm himself in the days leading up to his death. This loss was a devastating blow to O'Connor, who had already faced numerous personal challenges, including her own struggles with suicidal thoughts. Throughout her career, O'Connor's relationships were a subject of public fascination and often controversy. Her marriages and romantic partnerships were closely followed by the media, with each relationship adding another dimension to the public's perception of her. The breakdown of her first marriage and the custody battles that followed were particularly challenging, as O'Connor faced not only the pain of personal loss, but also the judgment and speculation of the public eye. O'Connor's struggles were not confined to her personal life. Professionally, she faced numerous challenges, including the backlash from her Saturday Night Live appearance and the resulting decline in her popularity in the United States. Despite these setbacks, she continued to produce music that was true to her artistic vision, refusing to compromise her integrity for commercial success. The intersection of O'Connor's personal and professional life often played out in the public domain. Her candid discussions about her mental health, her experiences with abuse, and her views on religion and society made her a figure of both admiration and controversy. O'Connor's openness about her struggles was groundbreaking at the time, as few public figures were willing to discuss such issues so openly. Throughout her life, O'Connor sought solace and understanding in spirituality. Her spiritual journey was eclectic, encompassing various beliefs and practices. In 2018, she announced her conversion to Islam and changed her name to Shuhada David, a decision that was met with mixed reactions but reflected her ongoing search for spiritual fulfillment. In examining O'Connor's life, it's clear that her personal struggles were intricately intertwined with her public persona. Her music was often a reflection of her life experiences, with each album offering a glimpse into her world. Songs like Nothing Compares to You took on new layers of meaning when viewed through the lens of her personal trials. Musical evolution, experimentation, and diverse genres. Sinead O'Connor's musical journey is a rich tapestry of experimentation and exploration across various genres, defying the pigeonholing often seen in the music industry. Her evolution as an artist reflects her restless spirit and insatiable curiosity, leading her down paths less traveled and into musical territories often uncharted by her contemporaries. After the whirlwind success of Nothing Compares to You, one might have expected O'Connor to stick to the winning formula of soul-stirring ballads. Instead, she embarked on a journey of musical exploration that saw her dabble in everything from reggae to Irish folk, from pop rock to gospel. This refusal to be typecast or confined to a single genre is a testament to her artistic integrity and her relentless pursuit of musical authenticity. O'Connor's second album, I Do Not Want What I Haven't Got, showcased this diversity. While it featured the chart-topping ballad that brought her global fame, the album as a whole was far more eclectic. Tracks like The Emperor's New Clothes and I Am Stretched on Your Grave revealed her versatility, blending elements of rock, pop, and Irish traditional music. This album was not just a collection of songs, it was a statement of O'Connor's refusal to be defined by any single musical style. Her subsequent albums continued this trend of exploration and experimentation. Am I Not Your Girl was an unexpected detour into the world of jazz and torch songs, featuring covers of classics like Bewitched, Bothered, and Bewildered. Here, O'Connor's emotive voice brought a new dimension to these well-known tracks, demonstrating her ability to inhabit and interpret songs from vastly different genres. Universal Mother, released in 1994, delved even deeper into personal and political themes, reflecting her maturation as an artist and an individual. This album was a raw and unfiltered expression of O'Connor's experiences as a woman, a mother, and an artist, touching on topics ranging from motherhood to the perils of fame. One of O'Connor's most ambitious projects was the 2000 album Faith and Courage, which saw her collaborate with an array of artists and producers, including Brian Eno and Wyclef Jean. This album was a melting pot of influences and styles, from the reggae-tinged No Man's Woman to the introspective Hold Back the Night. It was a bold move, showcasing her willingness to experiment and collaborate, and a clear indication that her musical journey was far from over. O'Connor's exploration of religious themes was another significant aspect of her musical evolution. Raised in a Catholic environment, her relationship with religion was complex and fraught with controversy. However, this did not stop her from exploring spiritual themes in her music. Her album, Theology, 2007, was a stark introspective work, featuring biblical texts set to minimalist arrangements. This album was a far cry from her pop hits, yet it was quintessentially O'Connor, deeply personal, spiritually profound, and artistically daring. Throughout her career, O'Connor continued to challenge expectations and defy conventional music industry wisdom. Her later works, such as I'm Not Bossy, I'm the Boss, 2014, showcased a more polished, pop-oriented sound, yet still imbued with her distinctive voice and emotive depth. Even in these more accessible works, O'Connor's commitment to authenticity and artistic integrity shone through. O'Connor's musical journey was not just about genre hopping, it was a reflection of her life's journey. Each album, each song, was a piece of the mosaic that is Sinead O'Connor, an artist unafraid to reveal her soul, to challenge her audience, and to venture into unexplored musical territories. Her ability to seamlessly blend styles, to find the common ground between Irish folk and American soul, between pop balladry and reggae, speaks to her extraordinary talent and her unique place in the pantheon of music icons. Voice of advocacy, addressing mental health and social issues. Sinead O'Connor, more than just a singer and songwriter, emerged as a compelling voice of advocacy throughout her career. Her fearless approach to addressing mental health and social issues in both her music and public life set her apart as an artist deeply committed to sparking change and fostering understanding. O'Connor's advocacy was deeply personal, stemming from her own experiences with mental health challenges. Diagnosed with bipolar disorder in 2003, a diagnosis she later questioned, she was open about her struggles, often discussing them in interviews and on social media. This openness was revolutionary at a time when mental health was a taboo subject, especially in the public eye. By sharing her journey, O'Connor helped to destigmatize mental health issues, showing that even those in the spotlight were not immune to such struggles. Her 2017 video posted on Facebook, where she tearfully discussed her mental health, was a poignant moment that brought global attention to the issue. In the video, O'Connor spoke candidly about her suicidal thoughts, loneliness, and the stigma she faced. This raw and vulnerable admission resonated with many, highlighting the importance of mental health support and the need for more compassionate societal attitudes. Beyond her personal battles, O'Connor was a vocal advocate for various social causes. Her music often reflected her social and political consciousness, addressing themes of war, child abuse, and the struggles of the marginalized. Songs like Black Boys on Mopeds and Famine are prime examples of her using her art to comment on social injustices, bringing attention to issues often overlooked or ignored. O'Connor's controversial Saturday Night Live performance in 1992, where she tore a photo of Pope John Paul II, was not just an act of rebellion, but a protest against the Catholic Church's handling of child abuse. This bold statement was ahead of its time, predating the global reckoning with institutional abuse within the Church. By using her platform in such a provocative way, O'Connor forced a conversation on a deeply uncomfortable but necessary issue. In addition to her advocacy for mental health and against institutional abuse, O'Connor also touched on issues of women's rights and sexuality. Her androgynous image and refusal to conform to traditional gender norms challenged the music industry's and society's expectations of female artists. Her song No Man's Woman, in particular, exemplifies her empowerment message, challenging patriarchal structures and celebrating female autonomy. O'Connor's spirituality was another avenue for her advocacy. Her conversion to Islam in 2018
أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وأشهد أن محمدًا عبده ورسوله.
and adoption of the name Shuhada David was a personal spiritual journey that also became a public statement of religious tolerance and understanding. By openly discussing her spiritual beliefs, O'Connor contributed to a broader conversation about religious freedom and respect for diverse faiths. O'Connor's role as an advocate extended to her interactions with other artists. Her open letter to Miley Cyrus in 2013, warning her of the music industry's tendency to exploit young women, was a moment of mentorship and concern. Although the letter received mixed responses, it highlighted O'Connor's willingness to speak out against the objectification and exploitation in the entertainment industry. Her advocacy was not without its challenges. O'Connor often faced backlash for her outspokenness, with some criticizing her methods and questioning her motives. However, her commitment to these causes remained unwavering, driven by her convictions and her desire to effect change.